looking at buying or upgrading your Kirby in 2026, then this could be the video for you. Don't forget every cues in the video today. There are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby and household products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. Well, Kirby fans, welcome back to the channel. So we're halfway through 2026 and you're looking at buying a new Kirby, a second-hand Kirby, or upgrading your Kirby. Now there's a few features you've got to check out and it depends what type of Kirby you want. Are you a collector? Are you looking at the best Kirby to keep your home clean and save you money? Or are you just looking for nostalgia? I've got some more Kirby collections set out. So I'll quickly go through the pros and cons of some of the Kirby's ones I've got and the ones I use. So let's jump straight into it. Right, so if those of you looking for an older Kirby, you can get the really old Kirby's quite cheap on Marketplace. I've got the Heritage 2 here. I've got the Classic 3. You can go pre-70s. It's entirely to you. You're going to find a really struggle to find a really decent one in this condition, but then you're looking at shakeout bags, which I'll explain in a second. As you go around to early 1980s, the Heritage 2 is probably your best bet to start with. If you want newer tools, then you're better off going for a Legend 2. I'll explain the difference between a shakeout bag and your normal pepper bag. So let's jump in. I'll show you the differences between these and then we can jump on to the advantages of the Generation series. Right, so a couple of changes with these. So this is a 1978 and this is a 1988. So this is 10 years newer. We have got the shakeout bag, which I'll go through in a second. With the earlier Kirby's, you've got the belt lifter. So with the older belt lifters, they were these prongs. And then you've got an airflow restriction here, so you could adjust the airflow. You've got a bigger head on the Kirby Classic 3 and you've got a bigger head on the Tradition and the Kirby Heritage 84. Headlight wise, you've got a bit better headlight on here. With this as well, the belt lifter had changed. It was a lot more easier to wind your belt on and off with these. Brush roll wise and removal, these are a little bit different. If we take the Classic 3 off, brush roll wise, to access the brush roll here, you just pull the front and out it comes, but it's still attached. And then if you want to release it, obviously this has got a new brush roll in, you just bend that out there and then take the brush roll out. Your adjustment for it was by screws. Same with the Heritage, so you'd adjust it down an 8 every time that brush roll wore, and then to put that back in, you just push the sides in and lock that back in place. With your Kirby Heritage 84, your Kirby Heritage 2 and your Legend 2, brush roll removal was a little bit different with this. So you take that off and it was the clips on the side here that spin that way. Then you'd remove your rug plate and then you could get access your brush roll that way. So these are a little bit easier to access the brush roll, less fiddling with it. Obviously when you put it back in, you have to make sure that the belt is in the middle. The only issue I ever had with these is the seals do wear. So you want to check you've got your rubber foam seal. I've made a silicone seal around this, so this still seals great. One of the major improvements I have had to do with this Heritage 2. Now to pop that back on, just a case of flipping that back in, lock it in place, and then your brush roll's connected. So with these as well, what you also got was belt light, so you knew when your belt was running, so this would flash green. There's no belt lights on the pre-1988 Kirby's. I'm pretty sure the 84 did not have one. I have got an 84, but I'm not getting the garage to get that, it's too damn cold. But that was another change to it. Also what we've changed as well with them is the safety switch. So the safety switch on this is down the bottom. These do go faulty. The safety switch on the Heritage and the Legend are on the side. They're a lot easier to repair if you get damage to those. Toe touch control and height adjustment is exactly the same. So it's the same model. You've just got micro magic written on this and you've actually got numbers embossed in the Classic 3, where here you've got numbers stuck on. So you'd lower that down. Same with your Classic 3, lower it down to the tone changes, and then when it engages the carpet, it's one more click. Wheel-wise, we've got no tech drive on these. So wheel-wise, on your earlier Kirby's, the wheels are mounted underneath. So from the Kirby Tradition onwards, the wheels were mounted on the side, but the front wheels remained in the same position. So these are a lot easier to change than your pre-Kirby ones, but you're gonna probably struggle to get new wheels for these. So earlier Kirby's came with a shakeout bag, and I know this went straight up to the Legend 2 as well. Shakeout bags, basically all your dirt and grime is in there. You would put your hand inside this bit here, give that a bit of a shake as you open the base, over a bit of cardboard or something, and then you'd shake it down and then you tip that out over the floor, and then obviously clean it up with your brush or paper towel. This Heritage 2 came with a HEPA filter bag. So you got your HEPA filtration bag, looks exactly the same, but it was a twist lock, so it was a lot easier to fit in these. So then you've got your disposable bags that you can use to vacuum with your Heritage, and it gives you the same filtration as what you're getting with the Avalir 2 or the Avalir Platinum at the moment. Newer Kirby's did come with a light to let you know it was on and off, and also you had a lock to lock your handle position. These do wear over time, so you're going to have issues with these if you have got an older Kirby. It starts to suddenly drop down on its own. When the bag is full, then that spring in there is damaged and you need to replace this whole system. I have got a video on how to do that. Maintenance wise, they're pretty easy to keep maintained. I have got videos on these and I'll share the maintenance videos, links to the maintenance videos down below. So if you need to change brushes or anything like that, that's basically all you have to do with these. Change the fan, change the brushes, and you're ready to rock and roll again. These are pretty bulletproof machines. As it goes without saying, I've got a 1978 Classic 3 and it's still running like new. These do come with a Chevron or Chevron, I can't remember how to pronounce it, but they come with a softer brush roll as well, so they're not going to be as aggressive to your carpet as the later Kirbys, like the Avalir 2, where you've got that stiffer brush roll. Not that I've had any issues with carpet, but you've got the stiffer brush roll. If you've got delicate carpet, then it's entirely up to you whether you use them on it. But that Chevron brush roll was carried over to the first generation Kirbys. Polished aluminium. End of the day, the earlier Kirbys did come with a higher grade of aluminium, so they do polish up a lot nicer than the later ones. I found they are a bit more resilient to corrosion compared to the G series if it's left in a damp area, purely because you've got a higher grade of aluminium. So that's a brief look at your pre-generation Kirbys. You can get these around $50, if not less, on Marketplace, but they're not going to be in the best condition. If you found one that someone's had from new and they've really looked after it, then it's well worth jumping into it. Just be aware that these will be pretty rough after 30-40 years of use if they haven't been maintained properly. So jumping now to my recommendations for the G series. Right, so here we've got my G series. I have missed the Generation 5. I'll probably get a lot of hate from that, purely because I just wanted to show G5 was more or less like a G4. It just had less power. Purely because when Kirby first started, you had 700 watt motors in these. So that's why I prefer the G3 and the G4. Looking for power and suction and a potential to upgrade it to make it more powerful than an Avalir 100 or a Kirby Platinum, then these are the models to go for. The advantage with the G3 and the G4 as well is the driver neutral pedal. They never break, never fall out. They are made of steel, which I'll show you in a second, but they never pop out. Once Kirby changed to the G5 onwards, we had lots of issues with cheaper tech drive pedals, and they were made out of aluminium and they do come out. So that is one issue you're gonna have if you go for the later models. The other advantage with the later models, so from the G5 onwards, the headlight did change. G3, G4, you had that square headlight. From the G5 onwards, the headlight changed, and then obviously when we moved to the Avalir system, it changed again. The advantage was you got a little bit more light. You got light on the front as opposed to just on the top and being reflected down. The belt lifters changed on the later models also. So with the belt lifters on the G3 and the G4, they were a square belt lifter. This one I have upgraded to a later style one, but the original G3 one has the same as what came on the G4. With your G4, when the G4 first came out in 1994, the G4 had the same motor as what was in the G3. So you had a 700 watt motor. After 1994, they did drop that to a lower powered motor. You can upgrade the mini emptiers. So I've got an Avalir mini emptier on here, and I've got a G7 mini emptier on this G3. And with the G3, I've got a Centuria 2 mini emptier. That does improve the airflow, and I've got a video on how to upgrade that. All the other Kirbys, so my G6 has got an upgraded mini emptier, which improves the airflow more because it's got less power than the G4. And then the G7 again has got an upgraded mini emptier because it's got less power again than the G4. Right, so looking at the G3 and the G4, this is the headlight. So the headlight is just a 12 volt bulb. As we lift it up, they've got the same head. I have upgraded this, as I've said, so I've changed this to the later style one that pops out. These do tend to snap if you get a lot of tension on them, so I tend to still use it as one like I would with the G3, but I just thought it looked a little bit neater. Brush roll wise, these do come with a Chevron brush roll. So in here you've got the Chevron brush roll, so it's not the stiffer brush roll, it's the Chevron brush roll that's in there, and these are really easy to take out as well. It's the same as a Heritage. Just lift that up, lift that out, so instead of it being connected to that, you just pull the brush roll out and you can change it or adjust it, and you've got height adjustments on these. So the upgrade with the G3 onwards was, instead of having that little screw on the Heritage, on these it's just a case of flicking it. So you've got 3, 2, 1. So that's your first setting there. That's not a setting, so always when you put these back in, start from 3, 3, 2, 1. Same on this side, 3, 2, 1. That's your first setting when you get your Kirby, and you just pop that back in like so. It's really easy to put these brush rolls in. It's then easy to replace. You can get them, there are links in my description below where to get them, and you can get replacement bumpers if needed. And then to pop that back on, just pops on like so, and then you just lock it in place. And now this system has been carried over to the Avalir. It's obviously a system that works, and Kirby still use that system today for that brush roll. Fan wise, earlier Kirby's had a grey fan which tended to shatter. So these, I've got the new style fan in there. All my Kirby's have now. Just double check the fan if you're looking at buying a second-hand Kirby. Make sure you've got the new style fan in there. Just check it for grooves where dog hairs and pet hairs have cut into it. But other than that, 9 times out of 10, these are great unless you've hit a stone or something. They work fantastic and they don't tend to fail that much. So just be careful what you suck up. Just remember it's a direct motor, so it's going direct to the fan, not sucking through a bag like a plastic vacuum. So to pop that back on, just make sure when you pop it back on, these two hook on the outside and your safety switch connects there. Drive and neutral switch on the G3 was one complete one, so there was no split system. On the G4 it was actually split, but they did keep that steel connection behind there, so you're not going to have issues with these falling out. We've got tech drive as well, so with the G3 came the tech drive. So obviously this is the tech drive, so with G3s, to make it a little bit lighter, you can put it in drive and neutral. You've just got to make sure that if you're using it on hard floors, you have it in neutral and not in drive. Never push it around when it's in drive, otherwise you're going to damage the tech drive. And that goes the same for the G4 and onwards, even to the Avalir Platinum today. So the total control on the G3 and the G4 and onwards are exactly the same. I did have to upgrade mine on the G4 purely because this did start to wear. So sometimes you'll push them down and they'll suddenly jump, and that's when you know they're worn. So if you've got that issue, just check your spring or check your total control. So on all Kirbys, we've got the exhaust fan on the left-hand side. So if you've got any dog hairs, always make sure that I vacuum from the left first, left side of the room first, and then work my way across. So that way I find if there's any dog hairs, it's not going to blow away because the vent is on this side, and I'm working my way across the carpet that way, from left to right. Right, so you can see a big difference as we jump across from the G4 to the G6. G5 had the same style light as this, but from the G5 onwards, obviously the power dropped from the late G4s from 700 watts, I think it's to 630, and then you also had a few more features that were included. So tech drive also changed. Tech drive you'll find on the early G3s and G4s will move a lot quicker, so it will go over the carpet a lot faster, push a lot easier. The way I look at that, because you've got that improved suction, you've got that speed to go across, so it doesn't really matter. Because they lowered the power of these, then what they did was they lowered the speed of the tech drive to allow for that, to allow it to not skip across the carpet really fast, and that way it would still give you the same agitation and suction and have a chance to pick up debris. So the original G6 did come with an upgraded mini emptier. It isn't the one here, this is off an Avalir. So the mini emptier the G6 came with is what I've got on my second G3 at the moment. That improved airflow a little bit, but not as good as the Avalir one. Hence why a majority of my Kirbys now have the Avalir mini emptier or the Centria, late Centria or the Centria 2 onwards. Looking at the bags, the G6 came with the bag and the zip in the middle. The G7 came with the half moon bag. So this is the diamond edition, but even the Ultimate G came with the half moon. Kirby did keep this onto the Centria, and then they did revert back to this one, purely because a lot of people were having issues with this folding down, and then they were yanking it and they were damaging the actual zip. So that's why Kirby changed this. It was meant to be a lot easier to install your bags. I prefer this version anyway. You're not fighting with your bag to install your bag. Your bag will go in, but you're not fighting with it to keep it in there, or you try and zip this up and end up damaging the zip. So that's why Kirby actually changed the bag from the half moon back to the straight zip on the Avalir and on the late Centrias. Tech drive wise, from the G5 onwards, we've now got the new style tech drive. These have got a aluminium spindle, and it will wear over time and it will pop out. That was one of the major differences they made from moving from the G4 to the G5, and this is carried on to today, and we're still replacing these over time as they wear. Obviously it's much cheaper for aluminium, but you've got the issue of you've got to keep having it replaced as and when it gets damaged or wears and pops out and it stops the tech drive working. So touch control works the same. We've got the same wheels on the G6 as the G7. All the tech drive works exactly the same, but one major upgrade that Kirby did, this was on the Ultimate G Diamond Edition, and you had a low powered switch mode. So this was great if you wanted to vacuum mat. What I had to do is, with my G4 and any other Kirbys before this, is straddle the mats if they're quite light, and I'll keep my feet on to stop the vac Kirby sucking them up. So you could put this in low power mode for lightweight mats, anything sort of like nets or anything you were vacuuming, just to reduce that airflow, which was pretty good, but they did have a lot of issues with these overheating over time. They eventually phased this out when they moved onto the Centria. So looking at the wheels, you can see they've changed. They've got no hubcaps anymore. We've just got a solid wheel. The axle is different as well, so you cannot put these on the axle. The axle's longer. This one's set back a bit more. On the G7, we had no numbers, just mark. On the Avalir, we've gone back to having a numbered system, which is pretty cool. Handle-wise, unlike the Centria, it's not a big solid handle. This is just called the gaping hole, but you've got a lot easier to lift there, so that you can lift your Kirby when picking it up. Your adjustment and lock handle stays the same, so if you want to lock it in position so it doesn't move back, you push that all the way to that side, and that locks so you can lift it up and it won't tip. If you want it to tip, then you slide it all the way to the left, looking from the front. Cable-wise, on the early G series, so from the G4 onwards, this was carried through right to the G7. The cable was secured here. As we move on to the Centrias and the Avalirs, the cable is now secured here. The only issue I've had with these is they do tend to split here or inside here, and then that can cause it to arc. So just be aware of that. If you're buying a second-hand Kirby, just double check that that lead isn't damaged down there. With the G series, it was more likely up here where there was issues, where it'd be converted to portable all the time and took out. So it was either that part there that the cable would break inside, or down here it kept getting poked through or kinked. So bag connection wise, we have gone for a different system. So instead of it being a push on and twist, it's literally a push on and clip over. It's just a push. So you got a connection there, slot that up, push that on and lock that over. So it's a lot easier system for older people with arthritis, and that works great, as opposed to the one where you got to line it up and really grip it and twist it to push it on. That's another reason Kirby upgraded the bag design for the late Centrias and the Avalir. Don't forget, every cues in the video today, there are links in the description below for the best place to get those Kirby and household products. Make sure you check those out at the end of this video. So I hope you found that video really helpful and it's helped you sort out what Kirby you want to upgrade to. If you want to upgrade, let me know in the comments down below what Kirby you have at present, if you're not a Kirby owner, or what vacuum you're using at the moment, and why you want to upgrade your Kirby. So I'd like to thank you for watching, happy cleaning, and I'll catch you in the next one.